So the Pontiac housing market has gone viral, and I'm here with Natalie Broda of the Pontiac Newscast to talk about it. So Natalie, do you live in Pontiac yourself?
I do. I just moved here last year.
Nice, welcome.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here. I'm really happy to be here. It's been great to be able to become a part of this community, and after, working in Detroit and Flint for 10 years, going to school there, you just kind of understand that there's a sense of ownership in these cities, right? It's a little bit hard to become part of the community if you weren't born and raised there. Pontiac doesn't have that at all. It's such a welcoming place. I work for the Pontiac Housing Commission as their publicist, so if you have any questions anytime about Section 8 or any other sort of things with housing in the city, I'm the person to ask. We're doing a lot of community outreach right now. We have a brand new landlord initiative that's kicking off. We have a new website, pontiachousingmi.com. Tons of social media so you can follow our projects, $40 million renovation of Carriage Place, $800,000 renovation of Woodland Heights, and that's just the beginning. On top of that, we also have the Pontiac Newscast, which is our way of informing the city of the top news of the week. We see it as a service to be able to show everybody what's going on underneath the surface, ask the deeper questions, give the context, interview people like Chris who know what's happening in the city and can give their expertise to tell the whole story, because there's always multiple sides to a story, especially in a city as diverse as this. I think that this place is really truly the sort of melting pot that my generation was promised, I guess, as a kid. And seeing the way that we have elderly people, young people, creative professionals, veterans, senior, everybody cares about this community, steps up in their own way. I moved here and not looking back. Love it here.
Yeah, it's one of the coolest things I've seen is the community that we've got here in Pontiac. I mean, it's such a strong community, and it's something that people overlook.
Over time and sort of the history of what's happened crime-wise in Pontiac, it truly is no different than any other urban area in Southeast Michigan. We have people who are able and willing to step up and to make a change in that area. And the stigma is definitely something that is slowly breaking down. You can see it every single day. But it only breaks down when we have people who are willing to come out and tell the story and tell their story. The teenagers who want to build the skate park, that was a grassroots effort. Now we got the Tony Hawk Foundation coming in. We got the city, we got Oakland County supporting it, and we're going to have a brand new skate park.
Another huge proponent in the city, Coleman Yoakum, and what he's doing over at Webster. I mean, we've done an interview with him prior, but I mean, the fact that he was able to get Webster Elementary School onto the National Register of Historic Places and is revitalizing that building and making it a community center to give back to the community. I mean, it's so amazing to hear story after story of people having this sort of involvement right here in the city of Pontiac.
And that one is actually a great, perfect marriage of somebody who was not born and raised in Pontiac, but who really listened to what the community wanted, needed, and that's why it's taken this amount of time, because they did spend 2 years just talking with the community about what this space could be. They valued what people thought about that, and now they have the backing, and they will be able to complete the project. Explain to me how you came to be sort of this viral-centric realtor here in Pontiac.
Well, that's a great question. It actually all started with you when you were at the Oakland Press. So we had a viral marketing stint at Poppleton Place, a condo in Birmingham, right across the street from downtown. The other condos in the building had been on the market for, roughly a year with no sales. So I knew that I was going to have to do something to make that listing stand out. We decided we were going to essentially bring Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus into the listing in a provocative, sexual kind of way. And it got a lot of attention, and even, started off with the Oakland Press and then went to Channel 4, Channel 7, aired it, talked about on Dave and Chuck the Freak, and that was the beginning of my virality and becoming a viral marketing agent, I guess. Real estate's a pretty buttoned up industry, there's not very many people out there doing crazy viral marketing stunts like this, or doing anything different than what everybody else is doing, and that's something that I've kind of grabbed and really ran with. 666 Wesbrook. From the moment my client let me know that she had a listing with the street number 666, I knew we had to do something with it. Address alone was going to hurt the marketability, very, very obviously. I mean, it's a very superstitious number, and a lot of people are very afraid to even rent a house that starts with 666, let alone purchase a house that starts with 666. So we saw an opportunity to do something special with it. We also got international exposure with this as well. So the UK Sun, so like the Sun tabloid magazine, they did an article on this. So like this Pontiac listing made it to the UK, which is a pretty big deal.
Pontiac Michigan is the best.
So it's getting Pontiac's name out there internationally, which is pretty neat. And we've gotten a ridiculous amount of comments and messages just about how exciting and how it was damn near genius what we did, and that's really cool to like see people get behind a movement like this. And I hope I can continue doing things like this to get national and international attention to the city of Pontiac, because we deserve it. What we have going on in Pontiac, I really like to compare to what has happened in Detroit over the last 15 years or so, just on a little bit smaller scale. Detroit's was pretty heavily influenced by Dan Gilbert and Quicken Loans or Rocket Mortgage. And we have our own wholesale mortgage lender right here in the city of Pontiac, and Matt Ishbia and United Wholesale Mortgage, the largest wholesale mortgage company in the United States.
Is Pontiac becoming competitive in this market now?
I mean, it's not, I wouldn't call it competitive with the surrounding communities as far as the price per square foot, but what I've noticed is as the property values have climbed over the last couple of years, a lot of buyers are being priced out of every other city, and it's helped people open up their eyes to Pontiac, because all of a sudden they can't afford housing outside of Pontiac. So then they start to take a look at Pontiac, realize that good things are happening here, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, maybe Pontiac's an option. We had an average sales price at a peak in, I believe, 2005, right around $76 a square foot. Now that was prior to the last couple of years, that was the highest average price per square foot that Pontiac has ever seen. We then saw a drastic dip, obviously, with the crash in 2006 through 2008 and that. And property values have been slowly climbing ever since then, but I think Pontiac has seen much more growth than a lot of other cities. So when I was mentioning in 2012, we saw the average sales price drop to about $21,000 or so. And that put the average price per square foot down around, I believe, $15, $16 a square foot. And since 2012, I mean, here we are a decade later, and last month, the average price per square foot finally surpassed $100 a square foot, which is pretty remarkable. It was something that I was kind of watching it creep up to the $100 mark, and when it hit it, I really felt like we should all throw a party and like get together and really celebrate this, because it's a big freaking deal. I mean, this is the highest price per square foot that Pontiac has ever seen. And we've seen a lot of investors start to come to the city. We've seen a lot of first-time buyers open up their eyes to the city of Pontiac. My dream is, 10 years down the road, people want to move here and people talk about wanting to move here, and it's not something where it's like, oh, Pontiac, I'll move anywhere but Pontiac. Like I'm sick and tired of hearing that, because we have a lot to offer here. Like the infrastructure downtown, I mean, could be great.
There's so much energy in the city, and I think that the people who have been here and who have been working their butts off to make the city better, they're always going to be here, but now they have the support of a new rank.
I'm super excited about the new administration. Tim Greimel and the city council is pretty much a complete turnover, and we've got some really good people working for the city right now, and I think with the right people involved, I think we can really kind of take that next step. Pontiac is one of those cities that's going to continue rising, because we're just starting this revitalization, and like the sky is the limit for us. I mean, there's so much potential here, and we've hardly even begun. So I mean, like places like Detroit, Royal Oak, Ferndale, I mean, the story's already been written there. Pontiac, I mean, we've got the potential that like a Royal Oak has. I mean, honestly, I think Pontiac's got a way better infrastructure for a cool downtown area than what Ferndale has, and look how trendy Ferndale is right now. So like imagine if 5 years from now and we continue to see this growth up through that. I mean, this could be a poppin' city that like you guys want to go down to on the weekends, and right now you're just looking at it as such a negative place. So we've got a clean slate here for you guys to come to town and make the city whatever you want.